should be fine. Should be fine. We should be gaming. Now, I've explained like 2 of the species of the game so far, and part of me like does want to continue that discussion, like, you know, talk about the ghosts or whatever, which I will do someday. But I realize that you don't really know much about the game, like, as a game, because, you know, the project is a video game. All you know is like the species and like some of the songs, and I think that's like really important to like actually get a grasp of what the actual product itself will be, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I got in a mood, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know, it's the code name, like Sharkbot or whatever. I'm like, you know, we can like do something big, like game wise, you know? And what matters most in games? The controls, duh. So I've been itching to explain this because I think they're so cool, but let's do that. Before I go any further though, literally all of this is like subject to change. Like, I don't know what the final game is gonna be like, so this is just how I feel about it right now, you know what I mean? I never really told you about like the genre, have I? Codename Legshark will be a 2D platformer. The main premise of the game is that you'll be able to freely swap between the 3 main playable characters, Tango, Addy, and Ray, at any time. Being able to like chain together all their different moves and abilities in order to maximize like traversal, speed, efficiency, and fun. You'll have to use all 3 of them together as a unit, like as one, in order to like cover their weaknesses or whatever. I'll cover that more in detail later, but for now let's go over like the general movement. Tilt the stick to walk, or quickly flick the stick to run. Or you could just use the D-pad or whatever. Playing on a keyboard, it'll just be like the usual thing, you know, using like A or D or left or right, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. Ray's gonna move the slowest, Tango will be like in the middle, and then Addy will be the fastest one of the 3 by far. You can swap characters while running, and that momentum will like logically carry over for a bit. When you swap from like a faster character to a slower one, you'll start off at the same running speed as the first character you're swapping from, and then over time it'll like slowly decrease that speed to be like the running value of the second character you're swapping into, if that makes any sense at all. This applies to swapping from Addy to Tango, Addy to Ray, or Tango to Ray. But if you're going from a slower character to a faster one, in this case Ray to Tango, Ray to Addy, or Tango to Addy, that's confusing. The faster character's speed will like automatically just activate as soon as you swap, so it's just like, it's more of a speed boost than a momentum decrease thing. God, I'm literally just explaining moving left and right, and it's already so complicated. On to jumping! Here's the jump button. Don't leave! Let me cook, bro, let me cook. It'll make sense later, okay? It'll make sense later. Jumping on a controller is done with the right trigger. On keyboard, it'll just be like the spacebar. It'll be normal there. The next, and honestly last, important buttons is this! Again, let me cook! The right joystick, or a mouse if you're playing on a keyboard, will be an omnidirectional move that will change depending on which character you're playing as. You hold the stick or mouse to aim it, and then you release it to release. And that release will like activate whatever move they have. Tango will launch himself in that direction, Addy will shoot a projectile in that direction, and Ray will attack in that direction. Let's explain what all these do. This is the good. This is the meaty part. This is the meat. This is the mechanic. You're weird. Now, these are going to be the real backbone of the gameplay, so it's really important that you understand how these work. And before I explain like the actual moves themselves, let me go over just like how the aiming thing works in general first. You can aim and release, like I said, while doing literally anything. Standing, jumping, falling, running, walking, crawling, climbing, backflipping, triple jumping, picking up an item, dropping an item, ball hopping, wall jumping. Can you tell that I'm reading a script that's over there? Basically, as long as you can control your character in any way, you are able to do the aim and release thingy. Let's get on to like those characters' specific moves and stuff. Let's get the hey yo. Tango, being the character most focused on traversal and such, will have a fling. He's gonna launch himself and dash in whatever direction you want. And it can be shortened or lengthened depending on like where you release the stick, if that makes sense. Or mouse, you know, whatever. If Tango flings into a wall or a ceiling, he'll just bonk against it, and like you won't be able to move again until you touch the ground. It'll like lock you, you know. If Tango flings like along the ground, he will like slide across it for a tiny bit. And lastly, for now, if he flings next to an item, he'll steal it and he'll hold it. Then you'll be able to like use it as a double jump, Klonoa style. Wahoo! Addie, being focused on puzzling, will have a projectile. She's gonna like throw the wisp above her head in any direction you want. It flies very quickly and it will always go the same speed. The wisp has a few main functions. 1! If it's thrown at an item, like it hits an item along its path or whatever, Addie will be able to like teleport that item in front of her by the press of a button. 2! If it's thrown at a teleport spot, temporary name, shut up. Then at the press of that same button, she'll be able to teleport to that spot. The wisp will not be able to go through the wall, a floor, or the ceiling. I really wanted to like make this move, instead of a projectile, I wanted to make her be able to just like freely teleport anywhere. But like, for a puzzle platformer, that would kind of break the game feel. I feel. Game feel, I feel. GameCube. GameCube, iCube. What am I cooking right now? Who knows? And for Ray, being focused on combat, and for Ray being focused on strength, he'll have an attack. He's gonna punch or kick in any direction you want. Obviously, this attack can break things, you know, opening up pathways and such, you know, cooking. It also has another use, to where if you use it next to an item, Ray will like attack that item and will send it flying, like essentially throwing it basically. And if Ray is like aiming for a while, like his aiming thing, unlike the other two, he'll actually charge his fist, and then he'll get like a more powerful attack from it over time. And that will be able to break even tougher objects that you couldn't normally, or like send things flying even farther than before. If you need to like rewind or whatever, like to understand, I get it, you know, that's a lot of info. I'm crazy, I know, I'm a little kooky with it. But now we're gonna talk about more like general character specific abilities and stuff. Out of the three, Tango has the most unique moves he can pull off. In addition to everything I talked about, in addition, you know what I'm saying in addition, okay? I'm just gonna mumble it. Shut up! In addition to everything I talked about, Tango will be able to wall jump, crawl, and triple jump. He's not able to talk to NPCs because he's too nervous. If Tango flings himself into like a beach ball or a balloon or anything like inflatable like that, he will bite it and then pop it, and that will send him like in the opposite direction, like physics wise, you know? And that will act as like basically a second fling. It'll send him like the same distance. It's cool. If there's like a balloon here, you can go like, you know, I think that's cool. Earlier I mentioned that if you like fling towards the ground as Tango, he'll slide a bit, but there's actually 2 more extra interactions I want to talk about with that. 1! I did that bit already. Crazy. 1! No, but like, firstly, in the same way as a Hat in Time, if you play that game, when you're like sliding on the ground, you can press a jump button and get like an extra boost, you know? Tango will have that as well when he's in his like sliding thing from a flinging towards the ground. And 2, if it's raining, Tango will actually like slide on the ground indefinitely until he's interrupted, which is like a lot faster than his normal running speed, so it's pretty useful. Tango can also obviously swim in water. I haven't figured out the exact controls I want for that yet. This makes him the only character of the 3 able to do so. Ray would just sink underwater and Addie's physics wouldn't be like affected at all. She'd just play as normal, which you don't want underwater. If you leave Tango idle for too long, he'll start dancing to the music, and you will not be able to swap into him or play as him at all if you're too high up, because he has acrophobia. Addie's most defining trait besides the wisp is that she's stupid fast. There's no real like momentum or anything, you know, it's not like Sonic rules. Her run speed is just crazy fast by default. So like when you run, she just books it immediately. This is like really useful for clearing long open distances for speedrunning or backtracking. Mostly speedrunning though. Like as long as you know where you're going, Addie can like zip by an entire area very fast. And Addie, like Tango, can't talk to any NPCs because same reason, she's too nervous. She's also able to freely move through glass, making her the only character able to do so. Tango can't break glass, he can't get through it, and Ray could, but like he won't. Like if there's glass in front of you and you're Ray and you're like punch, buh, he's gonna like stop himself and he's go like, why would I break this glass? You know, like you don't want to get shards everywhere. Like Ray could, he's just actually smart and he's not gonna try. Tango tries though. If you launch him towards glass, you know he's gonna full send that. You're just gonna bonk. He's too light. If you leave Addie idle for too long, she'll start spacing out. She'll go like, whoa. And you will not be able to swap into her or play as her at all if you're in a large crowd, because she'll get too anxious. Ray, right off the bat, is the only one able to talk to NPCs, because he's the only one like assertive and confident enough to like talk to a complete stranger. This lets him like gather info about the setting, you know what I mean? Like some lore stuff, lets you know like where to go to find specific things or places, very useful. Ray is also naturally the best at most minigames. His ability to like send items flying in any direction is very useful for like the carnival style minigames that are going to be in the game. He's able to like stick to walls, but he'll slide down after a little bit, but like I think for about 3-ish seconds, maybe 5, he'll be able to like, as well as being able to freely walk through fire, which will make him the only character able to do so. Tango would burn if he tried, and the flames would make Addie like start to fizzle out and get all weird, because she too, as a ghost, is made of gas, you know what I mean? The fire would like interrupt her or whatever. It makes sense in my head, shut up. If you leave him idle for too long, he'll lay down and start basking, and you will not be able to swap into him or play as him at all if you're in an area that's too cold, as he's cold-blooded, you know, reptile. You don't want him to be in the cold. He's a reptile. Transition. Pay attention! Important! This is the central mechanic of the game. It's what makes everything tick, you know what I mean? As I said very early on before, you can like freely swap between Tango, Addie, and Ray whenever you want, with no penalty. Like whenever you can press a button and something will happen, you could also swap. In the same way, you could also aim. The swap is instant, and it gives you control over the character you're swapping into immediately, with no delay. And that's kind of it, in terms of the swapping. It's short to explain and very simple to understand, but it really opens up the game in a huge way, because you can now link together all of their different moves and abilities and attributes or whatever. And I'll give you a few examples of this. Let me cook. Hear me out. Peep this. I think this game is real cool. Here's the good part. Here's the good part. Okay, so you know how I said Tango has, if he like flings into a wall, he gets bonked, and then he like can't move until he touches the ground. You know, you can do that. As Tango, you can like fling towards a wall, and then right before you hit it, you can swap into Ray. So then he'll cling to the wall, like he'll stay on the wall, avoiding the bonk effect and sticking to that wall. You can then switch back to Tango, who will be like Tango like slides down the wall a little bit, but like you can swap into Tango and immediately wall jump. If there's like 2 walls here, right, like Flappy Bird pipes, you know what I mean? And there's like wood or something breakable in front of it, and a warp point behind it. You can like jump up as Ray, aim, and hit the wall, break the wood, swap into Addie, still in the air. You can take your whiz, you can throw it at the warp point, and then you can press the button, and you can go to the warp point without even touching the ground. You can like launch as Tango towards some glass, swap to Addie while you're moving, so you can go through the glass. And then as Addie, you go like, oh, there's an item over there. You take your whiz, you throw it towards the item, you spawn it in front of her, quickly, swap to Tango, launch in front of it, grab the item, you now have it, so then you can Klonoa, then you can have the item, then you can swap by the Tango, then you can double jump in midair, and we're just super hyped. It's so cool. This one is not useful at all. This one is stupid. You can have an item in front of you, and you can be Ray, and you can punch it, and then swap to Addie, and then throw a wisp at it, and then put it in front of you again, and then go to Ray, and then punch it, and then go to Addie, and throw a wisp at it, and teleport it, and then go to Ray. You can just do that forever. I think that's really funny. If there's an area where it's like, oh my god, like, it's what am I thinking of? If there's like an area that's like in a big crowd or whatever, and there's like a warp point you have to get to, the only way you can reach that is by using Addie and go to the, but you can't be Addie because there's a crowd and she won't come out because she's too scared. So you can use the fact that Ray can talk to NPCs and you can talk to people, and I don't know, some kind of way to clear the crowd so then you can go into Addie and use the warp for credits. Okay, I thought of more while I was just recording normally, and I have to talk. If there's like a thingy up high where you can only break it with a charge attack by Ray, you're like, well, shoot, okay, because like 1, I can't reach it. 2, Ray can't charge his attack while he's moving. He has to stay still. But if you're Tango and you fling in that direction and you swap into Ray and you charge it, you can like circumvent that and kind of charge while like using like the minimum momentum. You can like kind of charge while moving. So then you can like go up and you go and you break it. If you need to like launch an item somewhere, but like you can't let it hit a wall,
you know? Like, you have to launch it to a specific place, but you can't because, like, it'll always fly too far, and it'll hit a wall, and then it'll, like, break or something or whatever. If there's, like, a warp point next to it, you can, like, hit it as Ray, swap to Addy, and then throw her Wisp at the warp point, and teleport there, and then swap to Tango, and then catch the item before it hits the wall, and then you can use it where you need to use it, because it didn't break, because you caught it before it hit the wall. That's so cool!
I want it like when I want like different animations to where if you're like swapping from Addy while running and then you go into Tango, he would do like the Sonic figure 8 legs thingy while he's like running super fast, and then he'll like go into his normal running animation. But that's not a gameplay thing. This thing is really cute. And same thing for Ray. Ray would be like. That's all I can kind of think about on the topic of controls. That last part wasn't really controlled, was it? It was more of an animation thing. There's obviously a lot more I can talk about, but I don't want this video to be like 45 minutes long. I'm sorry, it's just a really cool game idea, and I'm so excited to finally tell you about it. But yeah, like there is a lot more I could talk about. There's like unlocking new moves maybe, or like upgrading your like aiming moves. Like your aiming moves, you know, like upgrading those to do like new different things. But that's more related to like progression and stuff, you know what I mean? Which I feel like should be its own video someday, but I feel like that's not something we should focus on right now. But yeah, for now that's all I got. That's the first video of cringe little codename Leg Shark Week, baby. Remember to pretend codename Leg Shark is real, because hopefully someday it will be. Have a good day!